Hello, fans of DX Engineering. It's Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA, 17:15 Zulu on October 5th, 2021. It's time for Tuesdays with Tim and Jeff. Well, Jeff is busy today, and he's helping our customers and doing a great job at it. But I have a very special guest. It's Ken, K4ZW. And guess what? Ken is on the other side of the earth from me. Ken is in Tajikistan, which is 6,600 miles away from K3LR. Hello, Ken.
Hey, Tim, thanks for having me. Good evening from Dushanbe. Glad to join you.
Dushanbe. So tell everybody where Dushanbe is, where Tajikistan is in the world, and why in the heck are you there?
Yeah, I get that question a lot, actually. So Tajikistan, I guess, is considered part of Central Asia. On its southern border is a place that's been in the news a lot lately, Afghanistan. Borders part of China, part of Uzbekistan. So it's and for those of us that have been around a while, we remember the old days of the Soviet Union and all the as far as amateur radio goes, the stations back in those days. This was UJ8, the prefix. So the reason I'm here, this is unlike some of my trips. This is a work trip. I came over here for work. So we've been quite busy. Actually, today was the first day I had a little bit of downtime, although I spent most of it in the hotel working. But this is a business trip.
Well, that's great. And so, Ken, tell us about amateur radio in Tajikistan. What does ham radio look like there?
Well, it's there's a couple of I don't know the actual numbers of people that are licensed, but more to the point, as far as the activity goes, there's maybe a handful of people. One that most people are familiar with is Nodir, Echo Yankee 8 Mike here in Dushanbe, and I'm actually working with him, spending a lot of time together this week. There's a couple of guys in EY7 Alpha Delta, and Alpha Fox. I had a chance the other night to meet EY8 Alpha Romeo, who is somewhat active. He's a pilot, not flying at the moment, but he's back here in Dushanbe. So there is some amateur activity amongst those guys, and so enough to be able to hand out contacts. And I get over here. Well, it's been 10 years since I've been here last time, so I'll get on and play a little bit as well. So it's amateur radio is active, but the group is fairly small.
And have you been on the air since you've been there this time?
I did. We got on one night. Nodir has a location just on the outskirts of the city, and anyone that operates the low bands may be more familiar with this. It's an existing facility that has towers. It's been there for years, and gosh, it's been 10, 12, 13 years now, maybe since Nodir established a station out there. He used a lot of the infrastructure to put up antennas for the low bands, receive antennas. And the last couple of years, he's been remoting to it from his house. He's got a good connection from his house, so he doesn't have to always go out there. But we went out there the other night, spent the night. I spent a little bit of 15 meters on 15 meter CW before the band closed there. And then went to 30 meters, had some horrendous pileups. It was great. And took a few breaks. We had dinner and everything out there, and then the traditional drinks and so on. And, because that's part of it too, is we want to get on the air and make some contacts, but it's just the camaraderie with the guys here. And some people I haven't seen for years. The caretaker of that facility has known me since, I think, 2008. This is the first time in 10 or 11 years I've been back, so we were really happy to see each other. So some of that goes on as well. And then about the last hour or two, the band's just kind of closed up here. There wasn't a whole lot of activity. So we did right at sunrise get a fairly decent opening on 30 meters to the U.S., but the stations were so weak, just right down at the noise. And it was so hard to pull out call signs, but got the ones we could, and then wrapped her up and came back to the hotel that morning.
So on 15 meters, Ken, when you were on, were you able to work into North America at all?
I don't believe so. I think it was primarily Europe and some JAs.
Okay. All right. Well, what is the route from your home to Tajikistan as far as flying? How many hops? What does it take to do that?
Well, there's basically two ways to get here. One is through Dubai, and the other one, which I've taken on all my trips here, is through Istanbul. Government contracting airline fare is what it is. This trip was Washington, Frankfurt, Germany, to Istanbul, and quick transit time there, and then from Istanbul into Dushanbe, and the flight arrives here at a little after 3 a.m. As a matter of fact, it was kind of interesting because Nodir offered to come and pick me up at the airport, which I thought was great. He didn't have to do it, but as we were coming into land, all of a sudden the engines revved up and boom, off we went again. We did a go around, and Nodir said he was standing outside. He said, "Yeah, I watched you fly right by." And so we came around and came back in. But so we were just a little late getting in, but I think probably by the time I got to the hotel it was 4 o'clock. And so it was a long day, but it was just really good to see Nodir and be back here again.
So if you have any questions for Ken on this trip or anything else that Ken's up to, just put them in the chat room. There are some folks in here saying hello to you, Ken. There's Kilo Golf 7 Papa Oscar United is on. Our good friend Michael W3MLJ from just north of Pittsburgh, and Oscar Kilo 2 Papa Alpha Yankee is on. Kilo Delta 2 Sierra X-Ray Delta, and Gino says DXE is the definition of 5 stars. Thank you, Gino. And Rick, Whiskey X-Ray 8 Tango. Pat, November 8 Victor Whiskey is on as well. And Paulo India Kilo 2 Quebec Papa Radio says, say hello to Nodir.
I will do that, certainly.
And Papa Echo 2 Kilo is on from the Netherlands. Whiskey Alpha 4 Mike Oscar Mike is on from Kentucky. November Juliet 4 Zulu. And our friend Champ, Echo 21 Echo India Charlie. And
hey, Champ.
Champ is a great guy, has been here to this station and is in Thailand. So nice to have you on. Geez, it's in the middle of the night in Thailand right now.
Yeah, it is.
So Champ is up. Whiskey Juliet 3 United. The tall guy is on from Pittsburgh. K3 Sugar Tango Lima. And Scott, K0 Mike Delta. Congratulations, travel more. Your Packers win while you're on the road.
Yes, I noticed that.
Kilo Bravo 8 Bravo Kilo Alpha. And WD8NVN from Ohio. And HS0 Oscar Norway India, also from Thailand. And nice to have at least 2 on from Thailand this morning. And November 6 Radio Victor is also on, Bill. And so Ken, speaking of your Packers, do they have any U.S. based broadcasts on the TV over there at all? Any CNN or CNBC?
Yeah, I haven't been able to see any sports. I did look to see if any of the NFL games were on, but that didn't happen, obviously. Yeah, it's pretty much standard everywhere I travel. I mean, CNN's a staple. I think CNBC was on, and then you have BBC, Al Jazeera English, France 24 English, and of course, plenty of the local stations. But I can leave it on for about a half hour, and then I get my fill of it and shut it off and watch your YouTube videos, Tim, or something else. But I consume most of my news online. But if I need a little noise in the room, I'll turn it on. Yeah.
Now, Ken, you do a lot of traveling. In fact, wasn't too long ago you were over in Ethiopia.
That's correct. Yep.
You've done a lot of work over in Ethiopia with a ham radio club there. You want to talk about your work there?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Yeah, this all kind of started some years ago when my travel for work took me to Addis Ababa. Ethiopian Airlines has a big hub there, so if you're pretty much traveling anywhere in Africa, you're likely to travel through Addis. And at the time, Sid, the ET3SID, had been running the club station at the university and had invited people over. And So I went once or twice. And then sadly, right after that, he passed. I knew he was having some health issues, but it came as a bit of a shock. And I just thought to myself, this isn't good. I'm worried about the club station and whether they're going to survive, because it's at a university. So they have, turnover. I mean, these students get involved, but they graduate and, they leave. And like anyone else in the U.S. as well, they graduate college and they're trying to find a job and get themselves established. But I got through there enough that I was able just to kind of check in on them. I mean, my goal has never been to say, here's what you need to do this, do that, but just to give them a little support morally, some guidance. And there have been times where financially they've needed a few things, and so we've helped them with that. But just kind of set them up so they can run with this on their own. And son of a gun, it has been amazing. This thing's just taken off, and they've prior to the pandemic, of course, they've been involved in some of the YOTA, Youth on the Air activities, the yearly camps that meet for a week, mostly in Europe, one time in South Africa. They've been attending that, bringing new students into amateur radio. They've been contesting. Things did hit a bit of a bump with the pandemic, and the school closed and couldn't get at the station. So, I sense it's probably time to try to get things going again. They've been working on it, but I may take a trip over there again at some point soon. I don't think I have anything work related through there, but just it's been one of the cooler things I've dealt with. Just to see the enthusiasm for amateur radio and youth. And I one of the videos I was telling you I watched the other day was some young female you had interviewed, and it was just fantastic to see. You're involved in a lot of youth with amateur radio too at your station there, and it's just the coolest thing to see, and especially in a place like Ethiopia, they're having a blast. And so anything I can do to keep that going is great.
So Ken, you are very involved with YASME. You want to tell our viewers a little bit about YASME and some of the projects that you're working on through YASME?
Certainly. Well, for those of you that have been around long enough, we kind of associate YASME with, at least for me, it was Lloyd and Iris Colvin and their expeditions traveling the world. And prior to that was Danny Wheel and Dick Spence and all those people. But today's version of YASME, we've taken a little bit different approach, because there's quite a few organizations that support DXing, DXpeditions, and certainly, good investments. But we're looking for opportunities. We don't really sponsor DXpeditions, but we're looking more for opportunities for things where we can support amateur radio. We've helped the club in Ethiopia, in developing countries, trying to help them promote amateur radio, get things established. We have scholarship funds. We have an excellence award for people that are doing things to support amateur radio that maybe aren't getting recognized. They're not getting the big awards, that sort of thing, but they're certainly contributing to the hobby. And so it's a chance for us just to recognize them, to get a little cash, little globe. So I think we've got a great mission. It's a lot of fun. One thing that we've just been working on here, and you'll see in the coming months, is in the Seychelles, Sugar 79. They've established a new club there. They joined IARU, and they have some property that's been donated by one of the club members, and so they're in the process of putting together a club station. So we're working with them on that to get the facilities established, and then we've been talking about getting some equipment for them, and they've got a very good group of people. I mean, they're putting a lot of focus and planning into this. They have like a 2 or 3 year plan what they want to do for the club. They've been taking the RSGB exams, which the government of Seychelles accepts and gives them a Sugar 79 call sign, because there's no exams in the Seychelles. So earlier this year, I think there was about 8 people that got licensed. So now it's a matter of establishing a club station, getting some equipment so they can operate. some of these people don't have a lot of money, and their economy is built on tourism, which has been down. So you see the enthusiasm, and all the elements are there, but they just need a little bit of financial support. And if we can do something like that, I think I'm excited about it, and it hopefully will lead to bigger and better things there.
Oh, that's great. We've got some of your friends are on here. There's Tyler, K3 Mike is on, and so nice to see Ty, and Kilo Bravo 4 Quebec Zulu Hotel, and Kilo 6 Alpha November Papa, and also Chuck, K3 Charlie Whiskey Echo, who I talked to this morning on 75. And Steve, November Alpha 5 Charlie, says, I enjoyed your presentation at Hamvention dinner a couple of years ago, and that was really good. And Steve says, I met Iris and Lloyd. Now I feel old. And
don't we all?
Igor is on from Cuba. Nice to see Cuba back on. Charlie Oscar 7 Papa Hotel. And so there's a group currently, Ken, out at Saitome and at Sugar 9, the Sugar 9 Oscar Kilo D-Expedition. Do you do work on Saitome?
The Voice of America has a big broadcast station there, medium wave, AM band, and a lot of shortwave. The best of my knowledge, we don't have any active hams there now. Some years ago we did, but that's right, we have an FM station there as well. So hopefully they're not near the broadcast station, because that's going to create a lot of havoc. As a matter of fact, what was his call? Sugar 9, Charles. When he was assigned there, he operated right from the compound. I can remember people complaining that he couldn't hear well on 160. Well, for crying out loud, he has a 600,000 watt AM transmitter blaring away there. Cut the guy a break. So, but yeah, we do have a facility there.
Okay, yeah. And we're on today with Ken, K4ZW. He's in Tajikistan right now. It's 10:30 in the evening over there. And so he is portable Echo Yankee 8. He's just north of Afghanistan, and very close to China, actually, very close to China. And we also have some more DX on here. 7 X-Ray 2 Radio Fox is on with us today, Ken. So I guess that's a little ways away from where you are, but always nice to have Talib on with us as well. So Ken, when do you come back to the U.S.?
I leave here Thursday morning it's wheels up at 5 a.m., go back to Istanbul, Frankfurt, and then Washington. And assuming I don't miss a flight or nothing's delayed, I get into Washington on 8:30 Thursday evening. So it will be a very long day, but it'll be good to be back home.
Right. And you also spend a lot of time in Mongolia. Any trips planned to Mongolia soon?
As far as I know, they're still kind of locked down. I mean, certainly the guys have been asking. In previous years, we did CQ Worldwide phone from there. Had a blast. And as a matter of fact, Nadir, EY8MM, had expressed some interest in going. So I think we'll be doing that again when things open up a little bit more. It's kind of interesting because a lot of my travels in Africa, of course they have COVID to deal with, but it just seems like things are much better off than a lot of Asia. It's still locked down. I have a son who lives in Seoul, Korea, and I've been able to get over there and see him for 2 years and see the problems in Japan and Mongolia as well. But yeah, definitely. It's a really cool place because it's everything you see in National Geographic, especially when we go up to the station at JT5DX near the border and you're driving and it's late October and it's snowing to beat all heck. And you see some guy flying by on horseback and just, all the things you see on the National Geographic specials, it's right there. And, operating CQ Worldwide from Zone 23 is pretty neat too. That's a rare one. Yeah,
no, that's really good. And we'll hope that you can get back to normal travel here soon. And it was a real thrill having you come on today. I guess there's a question on here that says, will you be on FT8 from Echo Yankee 8?
No deer has done FT8. If I do any operating, it's going to have to be tomorrow for a little bit, probably from No Deer's house if we go over there. So, unfortunately, we've been pretty busy. Last Friday, let's see what I say. I got in Thursday. Friday, we actually drove down south. You probably remember, Tim, that RCA presentation I did, and some of the slides were for that big 800 kilowatt medium wave station. Tajikistan, so we stopped in that facility. We actually went down to the Afghan border. We stayed north of the border, of course, but
Right.
Scoping out a couple sites, potential broadcast sites there. And then just the meetings back here and so on. There really hasn't been a lot of time to operate, but no FT8 from me. I know No Deer's been doing it, and if I do get on, it'll be tomorrow, and it'll probably be SSB or CW.
All right, sounds good. Well, Ken, thanks so much for coming on today. We're going to let you wind down and get some sleep, and we look forward to your safe return back to the USA, and safe travels and good DX.
Well, Tim, thanks for having me. This is really cool, and it's just interesting to see the global amateur community come together in an event like this. It's at some point you may even hit the XCC, who knows? But it's a great thing you're doing. Thank you for doing this and everything you do for amateur radio as well. You've been doing a lot over the years, and very thankful for that as well. So thanks for having me, and good night from Dushanbe.
All right, and thanks for all you do, Ken. Going to Ethiopia, down to South Africa, doing all the humanitarian work for amateur radio. It is truly the best hobby in the world. So
it is.
73 to everybody from DX Engineering.